Hello everyone. So we will be starting shortly, but we'll make sure that we wait for others to join too. But in the meantime, I would share this meeting minutes with you all in chat. So make sure you write your name and agenda items in the docs, and I'll remind others to join us. Yeah, so I think we are good to start now. So hi everyone. Today is September 4th and the first dev meeting for us for the month of September. So this is the meeting minutes that I've already shared in chat, but for those of you who just joined, I'll once again take the link and we'll put it in chat box. So you can take a look at all the agenda items that we'll have for today, and you also can mark your attendance. So let me introduce Meshery quickly. So Meshery is CNCF 10th fastest growing project and is a sandbox level project. If you want to read more about Meshery, you can find extensive docs on the various links that are on this meeting notes itself. You can also go through repository and can take a look at various open issues and PRs that you can give feedback to or you can potentially take up. So Meshery basically is a cloud native manager. So it lets you deploy, manage and deploy your cloud native infrastructure. So about which you can read more in our documentation that Aspers will be sharing the link in chat. So once again, if you have not yet, make sure you drop your agenda items. And also you can get access to this meeting minute that you can see on your screen through the link that is in chat. So before we get started with topics, we would first follow our tradition, and that is if you're joining this call for the very first time, you can go ahead and introduce yourself. So I'll take a look at the participant list and we'll see who all are joining us today for the very first time. So Vaibhav Mittal, like, is it the first time that you're joining this call? If yes, do you mind giving your intro? So Vaibhav, if you can hear me, you can unmute yourself and can go introduce yourself. If not, so you can then introduce yourself in the chat too. So all the community members will know. And yeah, a good point from Rudraksh in the chat that if you have your if you have stable bandwidth and can have your camera open, please do so. So it's always nice to talk to faces. So it looks like we don't have any newcomer on the call today. So we'll start with topics. But before that, I'll once again share this link for those who just joined. So now let's get started with topics first. So the first topic is from Ijoma. So I hope she is with us on the call. Yep, there she is. So do you mind going and covering your item, Ijoma?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm currently working on creating a Helm plugin to generate a snapshot. And I was able to make so much progress yesterday. So I'm just going to share my screen and show how it works. Um, but currently I have a problem which I maybe we can all sit. Not so much of a problem, but maybe someone can assist me with it. All right, so can you see my screen?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, I connected one of my GitHub repository to Meshery mesh map, and this is it, right? And this is the workflow too. Because for the I think for this little demo, I'm going to use my own repository. So this is the plugin. This is the code to generate the snapshot. And I'm just going to run this. So this is the command helm snapshot, the file name and the name of the name basically. So I'm running it. Let me increase my screen just so everybody sees it very well. So now this has triggered the workflow on my actions here, right? And I think when this is done running, we would have the snapshot. While this is running, let me just explain the problem I have. Currently I can't see any API, GitHub API to like retrieve the output URL, which has like the snapshot that will be generated here. And I don't know how I can be able to do that, or if someone can just point me to how to get the output URL. That's the snapshot for this. This is still running, but when it's done, it might take a while. But I think while this is taking a while, let me just go to one that I ran before this. So this completed already. All right. And if I go to the pull requests for this is it.
So
Right. And I'm sorry, just to point out, like I'm using let me show you the GitHub flow for this. This is accepting GitHub token, the Meshery token, the PR number, which I had coded to 5 here. Just because I'm connected to my own repository. The application type, which is a Helm chart, and an application URL, which is this thing I'm passing here. Right. So
that snapshot also supports like providing a link where the snapshot should be deposited. So uh, that action has that functionality. So what you can do is like while you are dispatching that action inside the input or inside the payload, you can specify a link which will point to like a packages extension, packages repository. And so you'll be aware that okay, this is the link where the snapshot will be deposited, or this is the link from which the
oh
snapshot will be accessed. So you can prefer that. You can at the end of the run or after the end plugin has been invoked, you can display a message that snapshot will be available at this moment.
oh okay. Okay, I'll check it out. So but which URL am I going to use? I think one of the requirements is that the user can provide an email address where we can send that to, right?
Yes.
But in the case where like there are no email address, the user didn't provide an email address, which callback URL can I add
So
to the
in case like
workflow?
email address is not provided inside the terminal itself, you can paste a log line such that okay, uh, your snapshot is available at this link. And if the email is present, same link or like same snapshot will be emailed as well. But email is not present, so like simple uh, line inside the terminal that your snapshot is available at this particular link.
Okay. All right, so I'll test that out. I think that's the last piece of this. Then once that work for this, instead of using my workflow, I'm going to use that from the mesh map repository.
or
So yeah,
Meshery.io repository.
Meshery,
Meshery.io.
yeah, yeah. Yes, but I'm just. I think I have it open. This. Sorry. From this.
Yeah, this is the action, but that that YAML that you are sharing is also present inside Meshery.io repository. So that will be dispatched.
Okay.
from-
All right. So yeah, I'll stop sharing and any feedback.
I would take that as a no. So thank you for your updates, Yuma. So next up, we have this item from Kun Yue, but I think we are missing them on call. Aspas, will you please mention them in the Slack channel so that if they join, we'll cover this item.
Yep.
Thank you. And I think you have to do the same for Raghav too. So we are also missing Raghav on the call. Then we have this item from Aradhya. So I'll take a look if we have. First, please add Aradhya's name too, so you can mention Aradhya to there. I don't think we have Emmanuel either on the call, so we'll have to skip this item too. And then the next item is from Yash. So Yash is on call and will be sharing his updates.
Yeah, sure. Just let me share my screen quickly. Okay. So actually, I was looking the issue that we were getting in the Meshery.io, the warning that we were getting for the catalog, and it is for a single file. And the reason behind that is that particular file have if I search that file over here, you will find that that particular file contains syntax issue. And why syntax issue was coming, we already solved it by making sure that it is URI encoded and syntax issue should not come. Well, this is a regression issue came because in Meshery, if you look in the playground, you will see the info model. And inside the info model, you use the RJSF and in the schema. So previously, this model used to get schema from Meshkit, which was updated. But recently we merged a PR which is making sure that we are using schema from is system. And system schema published model schema was missing an property which is as encode in URI, which let form know that the content inside pattern info field and the pattern caveat field will be URI encoded. So whenever user publishing a design, it is not encoding in URI, which caused that issue. So updating, making sure that adding this property inside the schema, make sure that we are not getting that issue anymore. And also the issue that we are getting of showing raw data directly in Formula. So it will fix both of the issues. If there is any question.
So you will be updating the system schema, right?
Yeah.
So
We
I
just
think
need to.
yeah, I think instead of like system schema, because we already have a schema package and the schema TypeScript package. So I think the schema, the UI schema or the just UI schema and the schema catalog schema should be published in the same schemas package, like the one in mesh schema, because that is also the package which gets published every time we make a release. So every concern related to schema should be like from one repository instead of system.
Like it makes sense. We used to do that. Like we used to have this schema in the schema repo, but later we decided to move it to the system because we were thinking that it is more related to UI. But yeah, we now generating the schemas in the system in the schemas repo for UI too. So if this work makes sense, we can do that. But for now, this will fix the issue.
Yep, but it won't be accepted for now because we don't want to do that. You're just going to introduce bugs and not come back to finish it off. Like, it's good that it fixes it for now, but the way that you're saying it makes it sound like we would accept it, and we wouldn't want to do that.
No, not in a way. Like I was saying for Uzair, like what Uzair was suggesting to move this schema to the schemas repo. Like we can do that, and this work can be done like later. But this is right now what we do for system. So
Oh,
if you
okay.
want,
Okay, good. But that's not what you said. What you said was this fixes it for now over here in
this
system.
fixes is for just to make sure that we are not getting issued because this is the pattern we are following. Or then we can like move these schemas to the schema repo, and because we were not doing that previously.
Okay.
So thank you for your updates, Yash. And Uzair, this is just a heads up. So though you are audible, but will you check if you are connected to the correct mic? All right. So then next item is from Ankita, and Ankita is on call. So Ankita, do you mind going next?
Sure. My task had to do with adding a couple of tooltips up here for these edges that we have, and then adding all these missing edges from this sheet that we currently do not have. So here's how the tooltip looks like, and these would be the four edges, the loop, the unbundled bezier. We have two of these, but we don't have this multiple one, so I added that. And then a rounded taxi, which would be followed by this one, like the taxi rounded version would be here, and then we have another rounded segment. So the rounded segment is represented differently up on this sheet at Cytoscape, but here we have something that looks like this. So I tried and I came up with an SVG that would match the existing segment section here. Something that's left here to do would be all of these have like, especially the segment has a couple of custom properties, like you can edit the distance and things like that. So I have to go through that for all the four of them and then modify it if necessary. But yes, that would be in and around. That's all from my end.
Right. Thank you, Ankita, for sharing updates. So we'll wait for 10 seconds for others to give you feedback. Yeah, please go ahead.
Mr. Sharma, Yash, do you have feedback by chance?
I missed that. I was writing the document.
Oh, sure. She's just showing that this in the tooltips, well, that there would be a tooltip upon tooltip if you can use those same words. But so she's just showing that the edge, the line, the green line, it's customizable, and you're familiar with that. Excuse me, part of the customization that you can do is to like change the curve style. Yeah. And previous up until Ankita's change right here, when you were to hover over one of those curve styles, it wouldn't tell you what type it is. So she's just improving the experience hopefully improving it by showing a third layer of tooltip, straight triangle. Does that make sense?
Well, it helps. For me, like, I don't need tooltip because the icon shows clearly what it will change age, but it helps like to describe.
Gotcha.
Like extra help, not like it is too necessary.
Yeah. Right. So it seems like they're visually intuitive, so you might not as an individual, you might not reference the tool. It might not be of too much help. It might be of help when you were to communicate with someone else and say, oh, could you change those to and if you didn't have a tooltip at that point, it might be difficult to articulate verbally, like, oh yeah, I mean the loop or the curved, the taxi or But so the other change, so that's good. That makes sense. The other change that Ankita has done is, well, she's expanded the collection of available curve styles. I think she's added about 4 more or so, ish. And can you demo those, Ankita? Like, do they work in here?
No, they don't. That's
Okay.
what I mentioned. So I have to work on that. That's a to-do.
Oh, I see.
Tools.
Okay. And then, so those definitely won't be included in this PR that you're doing right now. The other thing that you mentioned was the ability to,
Yes.
once you've set a curve style, to modify it. That's not supported either, right?
Yes, that's not there for the 4 of them. So let's say this segment is added, then someone can change the length of this. But when we come up to any of these, those sort of customization regarding the distance and things has not been implemented for the 4 of them.
Okay, but do they work at all?
Like the 4 of them, adding them here.
Yep.
No, that's what I
Click it.
mentioned a couple of times.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah. No, I know that you mentioned it a couple of times, but then the third time that you mentioned it, you said, well, and that needs to be added for these here, as if those worked except for the resizing. That's why I'm clarifying for a third time.
My
So,
apologies.
no, that's fine.
I have to add that and make it resizable in the other things.
Oh, nice. No problem. Hey, so as your reward for building out new capability, that's great, by the way. I mean, it's not for a 4th time, it's not there just yet. That's totally fine. It's a great suggestion. Absolutely. At least from my perspective, unless other people have a different perspective, I think, it's nice to give users choice if they, because it is meaningful or it is differentiated, like that taxi, the 4th one from the left, the rectangle-ish looking one. That is reminiscent of some networking diagrams that people might use, sort of a bus style networking or just networking in general. Whereas some of the other styles, I think, symbolize or intimate a different, type of relationship. So what I was going to say is part of the reward is not only having to repeat things 4 times for me, but is also having to, there might be some additional, now we have this gap under the arrow styles. So now you're gonna have to go fill that in with something new, just to make it. I say it in a joking way, but as you familiarize, if there are additional arrow styles, there's an opportunity to, add those.
Sure, I'll go through it and see if there are additional ones. I'll add them. We have to do something with the way these are positioned.
Nice. I do have one other quick piece of actual feedback, and that is the tooltip style. If you hover over the first level of tooltip down below, there, can we use that style? It doesn't have to include the hotkeys, but it's a different style.
Got that. I'll figure this out. I bought this one from System, the custom one
Yeah.
that's used for these. So
Yep.
I'll check that out and update that with this one.
Nice. As a matter of fact, I think probably if I could make this request, it would be to modify the system style to be like that. Because the system,
This custom one.
yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Unless people disagree, like that, it's, I'm gonna open it up for others to. The suggestion, there's 2 reasons for the suggestion behind it. Is one is it's a lower contrast than between the 2 colors. The text and the background, the small triangle underneath is of a different color. I know that was intentional to try to show some depth. However, I don't think it necessarily achieves that. If the colors were a little closer, but slightly off, that might have achieved it, but it doesn't. The size of this text is, well, much larger than the size of the other text. So if we're expecting people to be able to read curve style and then yell at them with the tooltip, it feels a little off. Tooltips are generally a little smaller, actually, if anything else. Now, there's some history there. Part of that's, anyway, there's some history there, but maybe we would make it of the same, slightly smaller.
We got that. I'll take a look at system and I'll try modifying it. But that would also change it for all the others that are here, the custom component. So should I change
Yes.
the existing
Yes,
custom tooltip here?
Yes, yes.
Got it. Good.
Vivek.
Thank you. Thank you, Ankita, for your update. So next up, we have maintainer Antoinette with her update. So I'll take a look if we, yeah. So Antoinette, do you mind sharing your updates?
You might want to say your name louder, more clearly.
Yeah, so Antoinette is up next with her updates. So Antoinette, do you mind, presenting your updates? All right, so let's circle
Cool.
back.
Anyway, I was just gonna say, Antoinette, yoo-hoo, Antoinette, are you there? And then that way she would hear for sure, in case she's there. But that might be why she doesn't have her video on, because she's not actually on the call. Okay.
So Rudraksh, you're up next.
Definitely. Just a second. As you might see here, there is an issue that when we go to these pages through links directly, they show this error. This is due to they being wrapped in a store wrapper, which is not using our custom context that we provide globally. So they are conflicting with each other. So this happens with this and the workspace pages that we have. So this I create this PR and have just a second, remove these store providers and have also wrapped them in the error boundaries, which resolves this issue. So now they can be navigated to directly through their links. uh, this is pending a review. Yeah, Sudhanshu is yet to review this, but I checked it, tested it on my local build and it solves the issue. So that's all for now. If anyone has any feedback.
Have you tried the production mode? Because the ISO I think just on the local only, the development one, but not the ISO on the production one.
No, yeah, look at this. This is the production link and the issue is there.
There's one comment for you in chat box, Rudraksh. Just remind signing off if you have any feedback.
Yeah, I was just quick. It was a quick video. I just saw that you removed the Redux provider. I'm just thinking that if you remove the Redux provider, don't that component need Redux states? Otherwise, it will cause issues.
No, it doesn't cause any issues. I checked it on my local by building locally. It works actually correctly. We are actually providing the providers globally now. So I think Abid had made some changes that solved some related issues previously, but I think he forgot to update it here. So that's why the issue was there, I think.
So, thank you, Yash, and also Rudraksh. Do you have any other items or?
No, Vivek, no other items. Thank you.
Thank you. So then there are a couple of call for volunteers by Aspers. So Aspers, do you want to go next and make these call for volunteers?
Yep. Okay, so I initially added a few more, but I saw that Amit has opened those issues in wrong repositories. So if I'm opening it, yes. So this is the issue. When we change between these two, they are same, and here I wanted to have a few more suggestions.
Oscar, so
Yeah,
your voice is much breaking and we
Am I-
cannot hear you clearly.
okay, am I audible now?
Yeah, but like it's raspy voice, so it's breaking.
Yeah, apologies for that.
So can we
Okay,
circle back to you?
yeah,
If,
yeah, I'm changing my mind.
so that would be helpful. So then Aviral has next item, and that is on UI. So Aviral, will you please go next?
Yes, Vivek. Let me share the screen. So I was assigned with the task to add Meshery embed design embeddings card on the Meshery UI. So this is the PR I have made, where we can see that I have added the Meshery design embed card. I cannot currently open that in the local host, but this is the PR, and I think sorry. Yeah. So I have made some changes in the extensions.js file, uh, where I have added this embedding designs, and this button over here lands us to, which is handle learn more, which is lands us to the docs page, which is based on embedding designs, which teaches us how we can use the Meshery embed design. So this is that's all from my side. This is in the PR. So are there any reviews from anyone?
So if you stay on that page only, so your changes will be visible to all. So we'll
Which
wait
page?
for, yeah, your changes there. So we'll wait for 5 to 10 seconds
Okay,
if
okay.
anyone has any feedback. Yeah.
Just
Yeah, related to this, Iojima, the work that she was just demonstrating earlier, it's for another
Yeah.
plugin. So you might have another customer.
Yeah, I had a little chat with her, and she said when she'll be completed, she'll be assigning me with that task. She had already mentioned me in the issue she had opened for the Helm plugin, and I'll be adding that in the extensions list.
Great. Is there any need to wait to do that, to get the PR up and get that rolling? Probably not. Cool. I mean, unless you don't want to do it.
Okay, thank you for your updates, Viral. So next up, Antoinette is back, and so she would like to share her updates. So you're up next, Antoinette.
Hello, everyone. Just a quick update. So I am going through the open ticket that we have in Sister to kind of clean up the ones that I had opened some time ago and probably had been resolved since then. One of the main thing that we do definitely need is to make sure that the package and the system is matching the version in the release workflow. I have a PR up to remove the redundant step for the installation that was happening at the build job. So once we have that in, we shouldn't have that extra step. If we do need it in the near future, we can just add it back on there. And we still have the initiative to make the migration on some of the components from instead of it being a material UI version 4 to version 5, basically just convert all of the components that we have to the systems package as well. So I'm going through and just pretty much cleaning house while I can, and I believe, Lee, have we already pick someone for this mentoring?
Yeah, I don't remember who, unfortunately. I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't remember. It all blurs together for me.
No worries. Oh, well, I know. I see you in the chat going all through all the channels, so I know.
Yeah. Does anybody
Um,
else, is some, like, for those that are working on Systent of what Antoinette was just mentioning, does anybody else know? Antoinette, maybe you, if you point it out one more time, Yash, do you know? If anyone's particularly focused on the item that Antoinette was just pointing out, Antoinette, maybe you could, if you show it one more time.
Yes, I have one due to open issue to remove the disabled workflow. There were a couple that I saw that were disabled, it just hasn't been removed. We probably don't need it. I do need to update the ticket, I'm sorry, but I just opened it about 20 minutes ago. But basically there was one for the storybook. Since we don't have any immediate plan for storybook, I would be removing that. There was another workflow to build the site before we made the changes. That needs to be removed, and then there's one more that I can't remember. Let me see. Oh, the multi platform and build and release. And since we're not doing a Docker, well, unless we are, but right now, since we are not, then we can remove that as well. I have the open PR for removing the NPM install from the build job. And still working on the NetJS 14 PR. I'll have to go back and change some of the code to make sure that it works against the current site for Meshery server. But that's all my update at that point. Anybody have any questions? Uh-oh, I didn't see you in the chat. The issue goes down. Yeah, there's a lot of open issues that were open at the time of whenever we first started on the other project, and there are plenty that probably did go stale, but it's not something I would go and close immediately because it can always be something that can be added later, just not right now. But as I mentioned earlier, I am going to cleaning. Yeah, that is true. So we're not focusing on Storybook. That initiative went to creating the site and having all of the information on the layer 5 side. So yeah. Yeah. Yes. To the replica app that I have, yes. That's on 14 and 18. And I don't know if anybody knows that Material UI already released a version 6. So there are slight differences in the right. The after I was just working on it the other day and I saw that the one of the API that was unstable for grid, and they suggested to move it to the new name that they have now. Since we use grid heavily. So yeah. That would benefit from just having it done from the systems package instead of directly in the Meshery UI and cloud. No, I'm not collaborating with anybody for the React upgrade, only because we have a lot of packages that are very old and they are dependent on a very specific version. But if we do happen to upgrade any of those packages, we are forced to add them. But we have a temporary thing in place. Yeah, they were talking about it last year around December about the version 6 coming out, and then they just now said it's like they already made it available, yeah, for the Material UI. But yes. Oh, you did? Oh my goodness. Let me get that. Bite me. Yeah, you don't want it to bite you. But to upgrade to the React 18, I mean we can, but it's a lot that will cause some blockers. So that's the reason for the open PR that I have in system to create the replicas to kind of get some of the what do you call the obstacles that we have in place and have that already be done, and then everything else would just be changed over as we go. So I'm still working on it. Hopefully I can get the at least the page to work with the server correctly. That's it for me. So
I can
15. Oh my goodness. No, they had a release candidate for didn't they? They already got a 15 now? Oh yeah. Oh, it's a 15 release candidate. Okay. Okay. Yeah. The only thing for there, I would not suggest 15 because of the reliance on 19, and we're nowhere near ready for 19 on React 19 yet. So
Yeah, Ankita, please go.
We might should shoot for like React 20 and MUI 7, and then we'll be like, the trajectory will be aligned.
well, it would be nice if they do come out with a 20, but I think last time I read, they said that the React 19, there's some issues with the uh synchronizing the children and the pop. So they said 19 is 19. Like they're not even gonna try to do 20 just yet because there was a lot of pushback on that. So
Sure.
safety for us is 18.
Gotcha.
If you want to test 19 and you want to test the new release candidate, just know that if you like to test like the latest feature, just know that the Material UI, the pigment CSS will not work on that. They don't support the yeah at one time. But if you like paint and you like to try to right, just living your life on the edge and on the dangerous, yeah, you can do that. So that's the last time I tested it, like whenever they first talk about the release candidate for Next.js on 15. Yeah, I tested it and I was like, I want to see how it looked with the pigment CSS, and then it was just automatic. It said, nope, it won't really work. I said, well, But that's it for me. If you have any questions, or if you have anything that you want to talk to me directly, just let me know in Slack. So
Some items related to this topic, Sento and Sudhanshu. There's a couple of questions for you guys. Can you guys speak to those? Sento, you could go first.
Yeah, we are in the last state of the Next.js 12, and if you want to move to the next 13 and the what's version you really suggest, Anthony, it's either the next 13 and the 13.5. Which one is stable?
What?
Stable version for the Next.js 13.
Stable
I
version.
had a conversation with Sudhanshu. Conversation with Sudhanshu, he suggested that like we can use any of the version in the Next.js 13, but I suggested we can move with the Next.js 13.5. So that's my suggestion. If you are migrating to Next.js 13 in the sense.
I don't know.
Right.
Actually, my question to you is just, hey, we need to rewrite some of our components, right? To be compatible from MUI v4 to MUI v5. And there's a spreadsheet that's tracking that effort. I was just looking for a brief update on that. That's what I was asking.
Yeah, some of the components are already in v5 and some components only in the v4, and we have to migrate that. We have to avoid any
understand.
conflict issues, as well as we have to
con I'll say explain it concisely that the spreadsheet which was tracking about functional tracking, we added that spreadsheet in same spreadsheet we had started tracking of like components which required a migration like V4 to V5, and that V5 is basically also that component is migrated to Systent also. So in mean which is actually a Systent component is already a V5 component. So same thing is been tracked in same spreadsheet.
It would be helpful if you could share the spreadsheet, Sudhanshu, in the chat.
Yeah,
have
I'll
shared it.
share. And regarding the components published on the site, like we have as many components in the system, but yeah, like we are not able, like we are very less in publishing in the layer 5 site for the system project, because the contributors are not able to deliver which are have been assigned are not currently delivered all those components which need to be published. In meanwhile, like if that's not been completed, then I'll personally add those components in layer 5.
I do want to point out that there is a last time I tested, there is a specific version that we could change to ND12, but that kind of like be like right there to 13, but not quite. But it's what I call a very we can be vulnerable at that moment. So I actually thought about that a few months ago, but once I had found out about the newer release candidate, and then whenever they came out with the 14 for Net.js, I decided against it because it will cause some headache. So but still, I can go back and look to see if 13 is has backward compatible support for some of the things that we're trying to do, because it's possible they may have added since then. But yeah. So
But just but your guidance right now for uh is for us to aim for which version?
well, I would suggest that we skip 13 altogether and just go straight to 14. Yeah, because of all of the stuff that happened in 13 was meant for 14 to be stable, from what I've noticed. Because every time that I was creating a new app testing 13, and then it was like they kept changing it. So all of the issues that were in 13 is all in 14 now. Been fixed in 14. So I would suggest we just skip 13 altogether and just go straight to 14. But since I already have that app, and I haven't solicited any help for that app yet. But if you are interested, you can take a look and see where I am. The way I have it set up is just a little bit different, because I was testing the back end to be using the Echo framework instead of the Gorillas. But yeah, I mean, if you have a question about that setup, just let me know. I can provide some information on that. I can send the link to the PR in the chat.
Thank you, Antoinette. So, Ankita,
But that's it for
I
me.
hope that, yeah, thank you for your update. So, Ankita, I think you were starting to ask a question. So, would you like to ask now or follow up later in Slack?
I just wanted to mention there are a couple of questions that I have posted, tagging Antoinette on Slack and on a couple of issues. If she could give some review, I could finish that issue up and send a PR for the same. It's consistent, and just if I have 1 more minute that I could take, I was assigned to as a part of LFX to convert MUI 4 to MUI 5. from the tracking list, I did go ahead and I've posted questions regarding it. Where do I start? Which components are done, which aren't? So if the list could be updated and I get like where I should begin from, I could start working and pushing PRs for those to resolve them up. That's all that I had.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you. So hopefully internet will take a look and will respond to your questions. All right, so looks like next up we have Jarens on test updates. So Jarens, do you want to go next?
Uh, I'm, I'm I'm currently working with this connection spec. So basically, there are one test which is blocking this one. So I think if possible, we like to comment this out first because this is when we try to like uploading the config. So by because by adding the the certificate manager, we can be able to directly discover the Kubernetes cluster. So I wonder if we can just like skip the uploading process for now, and we will add the test later. So it can work more easier.
So this is for not setting up the environment, but actually testing the connections page, connections table, right? The add cluster button and everything.
Yeah, is the uploading the YAML, the config.
Okay. So I think like for this particular test, we don't need like whether the cert manager is deployed or not. It's just that when you upload a context, if it is like reachable or it is a valid context, then you get a connection entry. So, but that the status would be like discovered state. So I think you can skip the process of like finding the I think applying the cert manager and everything. Just that uploading the context, uploading the kube config should be fine. Cert manager will not be required here.
Because yeah, I think maybe it's like it can be fine, but I will figure it out. Sure. That's it from me. Okay.
Thank you, Jarens. So next item is from Slok. So I'll quickly take a look if we have Slok. Yep, there he is.
So one of the recent focus of all of us is to provide an unauthenticated user experience to Canvas, and I have this particular PR, and this PR basically deals with that particular behavior. So if you just deploy the Meshery with the makefile with the target being playground, and then you would be able to use the canvas as an unauthenticated user. You'll be able to use all the particular features, and this is mostly in our step moving forward towards the mesh map being accessed and being used by every other user. So whenever someone looks at mesh map, they would be like, okay, you can share this particular link with your friends, and rather than redirecting you through the whole flow of signing up and going through each and every step, enabling your mesh map, and then the cloud giving you the permission. It would be more like whenever you log in, you would be whenever you go to the route, you would be directly redirected to this particular canvas, and you can start using it. There will be some features that would be locked to start with, like the left hand side, all these navigation menus, these setting over here, and the visualizer to begin with. And if someone wants to access it, they can use, there would be, when someone clicks it, there would be two models that is still in development. So there will be two models, one for signing up and the other would be for deploying Meshery locally, and then the user can move forward. So uh, the PR was regarding this particular feature, and there are still work going on in this particular aspect. So uh, talking more about this feature is that we would be persisting the database locally. So there would be collaboration features and for stopping the UI, for disabling this component, we are using the capabilities as an option rather than castle. So capabilities are checked before before the server is run, and then on the basis of the capabilities, the UI is either disabled or enabled. So this is how we manage the UI part of it. Uh, I've updated the code and taken into consideration all the comments. So Uzair, if you could re-verify, and think this PR should be good to merge and everyone can use it. Start the development.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Suluk, for your update. So is there anything else from you? Or
Yeah, there's a small update regarding the registration time. So whenever you're currently, if you run Make server locally, it would take nearly 1 minute to 1:15 for all the models to register to be seeded and registered by the server. So before, since we migrated to a new registration logic, we were not using worker functions. So I went ahead and updated this particular code and added a common worker function inside Meshkit, so we can use that particular function to apply concurrency around each and every part of code that we want. So the other function is the worker function looks something like this. It's inside Meshkit, and it's basically you pass in the Go function that you want to execute and the channels and the workshop. That's the update I had.
So did you updated that PR to like use general worker pool model instead of like including the Go routine and concurrency logic inside the registration process itself? I mean, like, you remember we discussed that thing,
Yeah,
extracting the concurrency logic to be like more general.
yeah,
So have you incorporated?
yeah, I have.
Okay.
So the updates I had.
thank you, Suluk.
Thank you, Jim.
So Uzair, you have this item.
So recently there were changes inside the connections API from the remote provider, like how the like we basically we were standardizing the remote provider APIs to be more consistent and follow the same pattern. But in this refactoring, we missed updating the Meshery server, some of the APIs or some of the logic inside the Meshery server, which were causing issues that you were not able to get register your Kubernetes connection, or your Kubernetes connection was not getting auto registered or auto connected. So these were the issues that we were facing. As well, these were like reported by if you are running local Meshery server as well as in the playground. So the reason was that now Meshery remote provider doesn't respond in like the response schema for the Meshery provider APIs have been changed. So, but these change was not incorporated. So instead of like just returning the connection, it returns a complete summary, like the connections and the total count and the page and page size and everything. But this part was not updated, the remote provider part inside Meshery. So these were causing issues, and like having issues like bugs around connection management. So this PR fixes that issue, and now you should not see like any. You should now see consistent responsive, consistent UI. Like if you have a cluster which is which is connectable, or which has no machine server can talk to it, then you will have a connected a Kubernetes connection inside connected state. Previously, it just halted at not found or discovered state. So yeah, this was the fix around that issue. Any questions?
No, just thank you for fixing it first of all. And the second thing, like we were using 0 as an index, so if you can add a small comment there, it makes sense because response was always contain a single connection.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Uzair, for your updates. So we still have 1 minute left, and so this item is from Amit. So I'll take a look if we have. Looks like we are missing Amit. So seems like that is all for today's call, everyone. So thank you for joining and participating. Before I let you all go, I'll quickly share about community calendar. I'll also be sharing this link in chat. So around the week, the community and projects meeting that we are having, you can find all of them here. You can subscribe to the community calendar to get all the updates. And also, if you're new to the call and community, you can watch tomorrow's newcomers meeting. You can attend it and get overview on the projects. So the link to it would be in chat. So with that, thank you for joining, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Till then, bye.